The maximum magical life, not it come to be now. Not what I expected it turn out to be now. Not at all what I dreamed approximately. However, wow. I would not alternate it for something inside the international. Linda Evans from Dynasty is 82. And you may not consider how she lives now. She went from $100. 000, in keeping with episode to cutting her private wood inside the middle of nowhere, the TV massive name, who as soon as had the whole thing walked away from Hollywood, moved to a mystery hideout in Washington and genuinely disappeared, but it's no longer even the craziest element at 74. She got arrested at 79. She made a surprising comeback, and wait until you hear what she did with a live eel on TV. That broke the net. Linda Evans changed into born Linda Evenstad on November 18, 1942, in Hartford, Connecticut. Her Norwegian historic past became a big part of her identity. The call Evenstad got here from a small farm in Nes Hemark, in which her paternal great-grandmother had lived earlier than immigrating to America. In 1884, she became the second of 3 daughters born to Arlene and Alba. Evans, both of her mother and father, had been professional dancers, so creativity and basic performance had been usually observed in her home, however, being surrounded with the aid of the arena. Of entertainment, Linda became an incredibly shy infant who averted attention each time. Feasible while she became really 6 months antique. Her family moved from Hartford to North Hollywood, California. This transformation positioned her proper in the center of the leisure enterprise. Despite the fact that she had no plans of being part of it, she attended Hollywood High School, wherein she shared lecture rooms with future stars like Carol Wells and Stephanie Powers. Her parents loved 40 pickle overall performance. Never without a doubt motivated Heron the equal time as they thrived within the highlight. Linda favored to stay in the history. She struggled with crippling shyness, making it hard for her to experience snug and social situations. At 14, her dad and mom noticed that she wished help overcoming her fear of hobby. They endorsed her to take appearing classes, no longer to push her in the direction of a career in Hollywood, but to assist her benefit self-belief. Earlier than the entirety, she became hesitant. Popularity in the front of people and acting felt terrifying, but performing gave her something surprising. It allowed her to express herself in a manner that felt safe rather than feeling uncovered. She felt loose. Gambling unique roles helped her faucet into emotions. She had typically saved hidden. That selection changed. The entirety at 15, she went with a friend to a television business audition. Herpel became apprehensive, and Linda have become therefore useful resource. She had no motive of trying out. However, fate had extraordinary plans. A director on the audition located her and requested if she favored to have a look at for the issue. She had by no means auditioned for something earlier than, however, she agreed to her wonder. She were given the location that sudden too dated her to acting in a way she'd in no manner imagined. The commercial brought about more possibilities quickly. She turned into doing modeling work and touched down small roles on TV in 1960. She got her first speaking component on Bachelor. Father, Aphamus collection at the time on set. Shamet, John Forsythe for the primary time. Neither of them knew it then, but their paths might pass once more. Years later, an Amoner that could exchange both in their careers. She additionally regarded on The Adventures of Azy and Harriet. Each different, well-known display of the era. Those early roles were small. However, they gave Linda revel in front of the digital camera and helped her develop more cushy in an enterprise she had never planned to be part of. At 23 years vintage, Linda Evans turned out to be cast as Audra Barkley in the Big Valley, a Western collection that aired on ABC from 1965 to 1969. It ended up a defining moment in her career. The show observed the rich Barkley family as they fought to hold their ranch in California's San Joaquin Valley. Evans starred in all 112 episodes along Hollywood legend Barbara Stanwyck and rising talents like Lee. Major Audra Barkley turned into greater than virtually the youngest sibling within the own family. She turned into sturdy-willed, compassionate, and unafraid to stand up for what she believed in technology, while television have become beginning to encompass greater impartiality characters. Audra stood out. Evans introduced enchantment and depth to the feature, making her one of the maximum cherished characters at the display. Inside the beginning, she almost have become down the role her boyfriend at the time did not approve, and she considered strolling away, but the producers refused to launch her from the contract. That selection modified. The entirety of the display have become a fulfillment, even prevailing an Emmy in 1966 for outstanding fulfillment in movie sound. Improving for Evans, it have become more than absolutely a famous display. It become the possibility that released her into stardom, working with Barbara Stanwyck have become one of the most vital reviews of Evans's profession. Stanwyck changed into regarded for her no-nonsense mindset and deep professionalism. She took Evans below her wing and taught her a way to command hobby on screen in a single unforgettable. Second, Evans struggled to understand what it intended to have presence in a scene in desire to explaining Stanwyck kicked her onto the set inside the center of filming the lesson caught. Evans later credited that 2D with assisting her locate self-guarantee as an actress. Their bond went past performing for the duration of the show's run. Evans's mom surpassed away. Stanwyck became a deliverer of comfort, even telling her, "I'll be your mother." Now, that smooth declaration supposed the entirety extra than only a mentor. Stanwyck was a guiding force in Evans's life. She taught her the significance of area and difficult paintings values that Evans carried all through her career, while the Big Valley led to 1969. Linda Evans turned into already a well-known name in television. Linda Evans took on ambitious and unexpected roles in the mid-70s, stepping far away from the healthful picture she had constructed on television in 1974. She starred in The Klansman alongside Lee Marvin and Richard Burton. The movie, based on William Bradford Huey's novel, suggested the story of a racially divided southern city on the verge of crumble of violence. Evans carried out Nancy Poddett, a younger lady whose assault brought on rising tensions amongst black residents in the metropolis's white government. The film aimed to tackle excessive social troubles, but critics felt it handled them poorly. Many observed it as exploitative in preference to belief scary, no matter the backlash. The Klansman stays amazing for its uncooked depiction of race family members and unstable generation. It also marked one and all O.J. Simpson's first appearing roles, including Toit's historic hobby in 1975. Evans took on a completely awesome position. In Mitchell, a criminal offense mystery starring Joe Don Baker, she performed Greta, a high-class escort, stuck in a risky international of corruption. The film observed Baker's person and competitive detective taking on effective criminals collectively together. With his private emblem of justice, Greta wasn't handiest a love hobby. She come to be tangled inside the film's massive conflicts, making her an important piece inside the story's puzzle. Mitchell have become not well received at the time. The New York Times called it mindless small display entertainment, and critics brushed off it as forgettable. However, years later, it decided a not going second life when Mystery Science Theater 3000 featured it within the 90s. Its exaggerated action and difficult guy cliches made it a cult favor. Evans's overall performance confirmed her willingness to take risks even in films that failed to get critical reward. These roles were a smooth departure from her days as Audra Barkley at the Big Valley. They allow her explore darker, extra-complex characters, but additionally they confirmed how hard it come to be to transition from TV to film, although her staying power her to one of the most exquisite tasks of her career. In 1980, Evans starred in Tom Horn along Steve McQueen. The movie recommended the real existence tale of Tom Horn, a legendary scout grew to come to be vigilante caught in a deadly war over farm animals. Rustling McQueen performed Horn as a person haunted with the aid of his violent past looking for his vicinity and a changing global. Evans executed Glendaline Kimmel, a schoolteacher who've emerged as one of the few human beings to provide Horn kindness and statistics. Her person brought warm temperature to a story dominated by lawlessness and betrayal. The production of Tom Horn confronted excessive demanding conditions. McQueen's health have become already in decline due to mesothelioma and competitive shape of cancer. His infection introduced a quiet intensity to his standard performance making. It one of the most poignant of his career. The movie itself obtained blended opinions. Some critics praised McQueen's intensity and authenticity, at the same time as others felt the pacing come to be choppy over time. Tom Horn received more appreciation, particularly amongst Western enthusiasts, who noticed it as an underrated accession. McQueen's filmography for Evans the film proved she ought to maintain her very own along one among Hollywood's largest icons. It moreover marked an essential shift in her career. Despite the fact that she persisted appearing in films, her most defining feature became nevertheless in advance of her. Linda Evans became 39, whilst she landed the function of Krystle Carrington in Dynasty in Hollywood that become taken into consideration too old for a prime girl. However, producer Aaron Spelling not noted the agency's common regulations. He desired someone with classic glamour and heat. Evans had both when Dynasty premiered. On January 12, 1981, she performed Krystle. The secretary have become wife of oil wealthy person Blake Carrington. She commenced with a revenue of $15,000 in line with episode. However, by means of 1989, that huge range had jumped to $100,000, making her the very first-class paid actress on TV. This function became a second risk for Evans within the 1960s. She modified into a celebrity at the Big Valley. But by the late 70s, her profession had dwindled. Dynasty became supposed to be her big comeback, despite the fact that it failed to seem that way. Within the beginning, the display struggled in its first season. Rating ranged 29 within the rankings. The whole thing changed in 1982 when Joan Collins joined as Alexis Carrington Blake's ex-partner. Along with her arrival, Dynasty took off with the useful resource of 1984. It emerged as the #1 show in America, drawing 20 million viewers a week. Gambling Krystle wasn't pretty. A good deal. Looking stylish, the location have become physically stressful. One of the maximum well-known moments inside the display's records came in 1983, whilst Krystle and Alexis fought in a lily pond. It took 2 days to film, and Evans insisted on doing her non-public stunts. That scene have become a cultural phenomenon, drawing 30 million viewers. Lovers cherished watching Krystle and Alexis bypass head-to-head, but off-camera subjects were not as specific. Evans and Collins had a hard relationship. Collins was an professional scene stealer who preferred to rehearse over and over to manipulate how a scene played out. Evans desired a more natural method. This distinction in fashion led to anxiety. All through one fight scene, Collins accidentally hit Evans in the jaw. She later joked, "That's not acting. Linda in truth hated me." Evans did no longer find it humorous. She as quickly as refused to movie, a scene in which Alexis humiliates Krystle at a charity gala. The tension peaked in 1985 while Collins criticized Evans's delivery in the direction of a desk. Evans stormed out regardless of the pressure. Their opposition stored viewers hooked. In May 1985, Dynasty aired its most watched episode, the Malavian Massacre season finale. On this cliffhanger, terrorists attacked a royal wedding, leaving Krystle and Alexis caught inside the chaos. The episode drew 35 million visitors off-screen, despite the fact that Evans turned into suffering. The stunts had taken a toll on her body, leaving her with chronic lower backache. She additionally felt trapped with the resource of the increasingly more outrageous scripts. Via 1989, she had sufficient. She filmed in reality 6 episodes of season 9 earlier. Then strolling away searching, again she stated, "I felt like a puppet." Krystle became trapped, and so changed into I. Even with the annoying situations, Evans's universal overall performance failed to pass. Disregarded in 1982, she gained the Golden Globe for Super Actress in a drama series tying with Dallas. Big name Barbara Bel Geddes. She earned 4 extra Golden Globe nominations and a 1983 Emmy. No Devon, though she by no means won, fans loved her. She took home 5 consecutive People's Choice Awards, a document that stood till Jennifer Aniston's run on Friends on the peak of her fame. Evans regarded on 6 magazine covers in a single month. She additionally have become really one of TV's first #1 logo ambassadors, signing a $2 million cope with Krystle Light in 1984. Her Splendor and Workout book, launched in 1983, presented 500,000 copies. But Dynasty's biggest off-show controversy came in 1985, while Rock Hudson Torres starred as Krystle's vintage flame. The script, known as for a kissing scene among Evans and Hudson at the time, nobody knew he become fighting AIDS to guard her. Hudson gargled antiseptic mouthwash in advance than filming. While his diagnosis have grown to be public, Evans confronted backlash. Crew participants prevented her, and a few refused to percentage a makeup trailer. "I've become a pariah in an unmarried day." She later said ABC even considered reducing the kiss from future proclaims, but by using then 128 million humans had already seen it in the period in between her feud with Collins in no manner, surely faded in 1986. Collins mocked Evans's appearing, announcing, "Her variety was from a to be." Evans changed into so insulted that she skipped Dynasty reunions for over a decade. It wasn't till 2006, after they each regarded on Hell's Kitchen, that Collins in the end admitted, "We had been oil and water, but the display desired." Each. Evans left Dynasty in 1989 exhausted from nearly a decade of high-stakes TV. She had ended up one of the most iconic figures of the 1980s. However, Thervel and tired her years later, she admitted that, on the same time as the display made her well-known, it additionally left her feeling trapped. Nonetheless, Dynasty remains her defining role, securing her location in television history. Linda Evans's life turned out to be shaped via the usage of love, betrayal, and reinvention. Her first Marriage to actor-director John Derek seemed like a Hollywood fairy tale when they wed in 1968. She became 25 when they met at the set of The Big Valley, drawn to his self-warranty and attraction no matter their 16-wire age hollow for almost a decade. She put his career first stepping far from appearing because he preferred her to reputation on being his best wife. She did the whole lotto, make the marriage artwork believing in the life they were building together. Then came Christmas Day in 1973. That morning, Derek sat her down and cautioned her. He was in love with a personnel 17-12 months, vintage beau. Derek he had met Beau Hilst. She emerged as truly 16 in the direction of a film shoot in Greece. The affair had started out whilst she becomes still underage with the intention to keep away from statutory rape costs in California. He stayed in Europe collectively with her until she grew to come to be 18. Evans have become shattered. She later admitted she felt worthless or even taken into consideration finishing her lifestyles. The divorce turned into finalized in 1974. But the ache lingered 2 years later. Derek married Beau and that they stayed collectively until his loss of life in 1998 as devastating because it became that betrayal changed Evans's lifestyles and strategies. She in no way predicted decided to rebuild. She referred to as her agent in 1974 and begged for artwork. She had been out of the corporation for too long, and masses have warned her that Hollywood had moved on with Audra. She refused to simply accept that she took any role she may additionally need to discover, decided to display herself over again. In 1981, she landed the function of Krystle Carrington on Dynasty Incomes, $100,000 in keeping. With episode and winning a Golden Globe years later, she found out. Something ironic, if she had stayed married to Derek, she by no means might have taken that function. He had managed her profession choices, refusing to allow her work on projects without him. His betrayal had been the worst element that ever befell to her, but it also set her free many years. Later, Beau Derek admitted she nonetheless felt guilt over what befell, calling the affair a terrible aspect that broke her heart. However, Evans had prolonged seeing that made peace with it, rather than preserving on to anger. She forgave Beau and the two even have become pals. I do now. Not forestall loving humans, just because I'm no longer with the Mevans, as soon as stated, I truly love in any other case. Her sued marriage changed into presupposed to be certainly one of a type in 1975. She married Los Angeles actual belongings magnate Stan Herman. After the chaos of her divorce, she desired balance, and Herman appeared like the appropriate companion. He helped her get higher financially, teaching her investment techniques that turned her right into a self-made millionaire. However, at the identical time as their financial partnership thrived, their marriage failed too. Her man desired a traditional homemaker on the equal time as Evans had rediscovered her love for acting. Their existence clashed, and through 1979 they divorced in assessment to her first husband. Herman remained a lifelong pal. He gave her their Beverly Hills home in which she lived for many years, and persisted advising her on price range in 1986 while he come to be diagnosed with thyroid maximum cancers. Evans became the #1 character by using his thing. She even taken into consideration remarrying him as she cared for him in the course of treatment. A near buddy on the time said having her returned in his life is the top-notch remedy he ought to get. Despite the fact that their romantic relationship ended short, his have an effect on lasted a lifetime. He had given her the economic information she needed to negotiate huge contracts during Dynasty, turning her into taken into consideration one among television's maximum paid actresses. Regardless of the affection and respect that they had for each other, their divorce left Evans upset with marriage. She later admitted, I became bored with being a housewife. Now that each Stan and I are successes, the thought of settling down is appealing. But she in no manner did. After 2 failed marriages, she embraced independence, rather by means of the use of the past. Due 1980s, after leaving Dynasty, she made a dramatic desire. She walked far from Hollywood, bought a secluded lake house in Washington State, and disappeared from the overall public eye for the #1 time in her lifestyles. She didn't have to please everyone. She chopped timber, grew vegetables, and stopped demanding about how she appeared. I not needed to fear about how I appeared, she stated, reflecting on the Botox and wigs she had trusted within the direction of her dating with musician Yanni. But life away from the highlight wasn't continually peaceful. In 2006, she suffered a slipped disc that left her in continual pain. The anguish changed into so intense that she taken into consideration suicide. At the same time her sisters have been dealing with life-threatening illnesses, it changed into one of the darkest moments of her life. I, in fact, understood why humans say possibly. I do no longer need to stay, she later admitted, but she survived via all of it. She evolved a latest outlook every painful revel in had Allison I found out I deserved better. She said romance came. And went she spent 9 years with Yanni, who became 12 years more younger. However, she in no manner remarried with the resource of 2023 at 81 years antique. She had no regrets. Joy does no longer come from the spotlight, she informed Northwest Prime Time. It comes from the existence you choose. She became Down Truth TV Gives wrote a memoir targeted on self-discovery and feature emerge as an advise for elder care reform after a DUI arrest at 74, the incident modified into caused by painkillers. She have been taking for her spinal damage a stark reminder of the struggles that came with developing Antique her tale, from betrayed partner to independent woman, have turned out to be a testimony to resilience. Something is feasible at the same time, as you reclaim your existence. She as soon as said, and if she could go lower again and trade some component, she might not. I'd not change my past. She declared, it made me who? I am Linda Evans, left at the back of the luxury of Beverly Hills for something. Simply outstanding in 1989, she moved to a 70-acre property in Rainier, Washington, a quiet retreat with a river traveler cottages, and a small circle of close to family and pals. She had bought the land at the identical time as still starring in Dynasty. But as soon as Hollywood became behind her, it have emerged as her full-time getaway. I live in heaven proper right here, she said, sharing her home collectively along with her sister, nephew, and ex-stepdaughter Shaderick. Her lifestyle changed genuinely. She downsized to a bedroom house packed with herbal slight and spent her days gardening and trekking. She desired a few issue real far from the superficiality of repute. You need to be in which your coronary heart feels safe. She informed Oprah, which include that obtaining older had given her more certainty in who I am. She moreover embraced opportunity, recovery analyzing, Eastern philosophy and naturopathy after being diagnosed with idiopathic edema. Her search for spiritual statistics led her to J.Z. Knight's Rama's School of Enlightenment, a controversial institution that finished a role in her choice to settle in. Washington prolonged earlier than properly being subculture have become mainstream. Evans have become already selling the relationship among splendor and well-being. In 1983, she posted the Linda Evans Beauty and Exercise book, a 125-page guide combining fitness pores and skincare and intellectual fitness. The ebook launched via the usage of Simon & Schuster sold over 500,000 copies. It protected step-through-step exercising routines, spores, and skincare workouts and affirmations like, "Beauty begins off evolved inside." She collaborated together along with her ex-stepdaughter Sean Catherine Derrick on the assignment, introducing ideas like intuitive consuming and meditation, rare requirements within the fitness manner of lifestyles of the 1980s. and 1992, she took her well-being philosophy, similarly launching Linda Evans Fitness Centers, a series of ladies' gyms run by using manner of CEO Mark Golov. The facilities focused on holistic health, offering cardio schooling, set to tune with the useful resource of her then associate Yanni, though the gyms in the enclosed Evans remained devoted to health and splendor, later hosting infomercials. For Rejuvenique, an electric-powered facial firming mask, I desired to help women enjoy sturdy, not genuinely appearance sturdy, she said, proving that for her fitness changed into about greater than appearances. In 2009 at 66, Evans did a few aspect nobody expected. She received Hell's Kitchen, becoming the oldest champion inside the display's history, the UK goal market. Watched in marvel as she defeated comic Adrienne Edmondson within the Stay finale, drawing 5.8 million site visitors. What made her victory even greater surprising have become that she had no expert cooking enjoy. Her culinary skills were inside the essential, limited to home cooking and memorizing recipes for Dynasty kitchen scenes. Her begin at the display became hard head chef. Marco Pierre White kicked her out of the kitchen on the #1 day for overcooking scallops, telling her, "You're now not ready to hold up hand." The bodily challenges have been without a doubt as excessive. In the course of a fish marketplace project, she became the primary contestant to kill a live eel alongside her bare arms. I volunteered to analyze even if it's supposed, becoming an assassin. She later admitted her comeback second got here, during a pasta undertaking judged through Mario Batali. Her lobster and truffle ravioli outperformed dishes from professional chefs, proving She wasn't just a novelty contestant, White later praised her unshakable splendor underneath fireplace, a sharp assessment to younger opposition like Bruce Grabeler, who forestall, and Anthea Turner, who turned into removed for awful knife abilities. Evans donated her 100 0 prize to charity, but her actual victory became cultural. She have emerged as Hell's Kitchen's maximum unexpected winner and sparked a 237% boom in Seattle tourism inquiries from UK fanatics at 79 Evans back to acting after an 165 days ruin, taking on a powerful characteristic in Swan Song 2021. The indie film, which premiered at SXSW, cast her as Rita Parker Sloan, a retired opera diva. Confronting vintage age and lost popularity, the position changed into personal. She drew from her struggles with persistent fatigue syndrome inside the 1990s to deliver authenticity to her ordinary performance. Working along R2's veterans like Udo Kier and Jennifer Coolidge, Evans delivered a putting overall performance. One scene specifically stood out, a single 90-second take in which her individual carried out makeup with trembling fingers. She rehearsed it for 3 weeks, ensuring every movement contemplated the vulnerability of growing older. The movie scored 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, with critics evaluating her overall performance too. Gloria Swanson in Sunset Boulevard. Although she was simplest on display screen for 11 mins, her presence had a long-lasting effect inside a month of Swan Song's release streaming. Perspectives of her 1983 TV film Bare Essence jumped 41%. Her resurgence in the 2020s introduced her a wholly new target audience. Clips of her mythical Dynasty cat combat with Joan Collins racked up 14.2 million perspectives on TikTok. Her Hell's Kitchen eel scene went viral, achieving 9.7 million views. Gen Z became interested by her. The Style International took word too. In 2022, her metallic ball gown from Dynasty's notorious Malavian Massacre episode offered for 47,325% above its actual estimate, from cleaning soap opera stardom to religious exploration, from fitness guru to surprising culinary champion. Evans has never followed a predictable path. Reinvention isn't simply something she